Hi, Craig and Christine. Thanks for joining me on the Forged Empire podcast. Uh, I just really appreciate you guys being willing to sit down with me and have a conversation. And it's going to be kind of something a little unique that I don't think somebody's really done yet. And I want to do something on marriage. I think you guys have seen a lot of people come and go and a lot of personalities and a lot of different situations that you guys would have maybe a little insight as to how the younger generation or even myself that probably will get married in the future or somebody that's even engaged now, how maybe they can set themselves up to succeed.
I don't think that Chris and I are like ones to sit there and give like advice to marriage. But I will say this. I was like, one time my aunt came to our house and she could see something that not even my parents could see. She came and she was like she came and she saw our house, and then she went out and she saw the trailer, and she saw Chris's shop, and she saw my shop, and she asked a few questions. And then before she left, Marlis, you remember when Marlis, and Marlis said, you know what's really neat is it seemed like you guys are all going the same direction. It's like your kids are going the same direction. You guys like meet up and you do things together, and like we're not perfect by any means. We fight. We have our squabbles, but we just, and I don't know if we did it intentionally or if it's just kind of a way that it happened, but we have our tribe and we go in the same direction. And I think Chris and I at all costs have tried to keep that going, because like the Harry Chapin song, the Cats in the Cradles, it's that metaphor where your kids grow up and they're just like you, but they don't have time for you and this and that, and it's like a terrible thing. And we've dreaded the boys leaving before they even left. We dreaded it.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And it's like those were awful times, like going to college with them and stuff like that, don't you think? And it was like but we've kept these events to where whether they're fabricated, and they do coincide with the WCB, and we've said this on numerous time in public and stuff like that, but after we get done with Fort Worth, we're all like exhausted, right?
Oh, for
because
sure.
we've gathered all this momentum and we've made it to Fort Worth, and we have our national championship, and a huge amount of people are invested, and then we kind of feel everybody out. We're like, Levi, are you in? Do you want to do it again? Yeah, this is the time, because that's the only, like, if you were to do away with the WCB, that would be the only time you could do it. Even if we had to refund everybody their money, you're like, hey, we've had enough people, we can't do anymore. That's the time that you would have to do it. It was like the day after Fort Worth, you'd have to make the announcement like, hey, we're not going to have another season.
Yeah.
And that would be a terrible thing, and we don't think like that, but you have to, everybody's got to be together.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's like, so we keep fabricating and making this, and the WCB has been a lot for people that come and want to be a part of something that I think is really special, but it's a way that we feel like we always come to the same conclusion, like, what would we do? Because like, so people go and they try to get the feeling that we have when we have every event by going to a soup kitchen during Thanksgiving and feed the homeless and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that isn't a worthwhile endeavor and stuff like that, but we do that kind of stuff all the time, and it's for people who want to help themselves as well.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, so the marriage thing is that Chris just got extremely lucky, and she no,
She got the Craig.
no, I think everybody in the WCB knows that she's the brains behind the outfit, and I'm just like the mouthpiece.
How long have you guys been married?
29 years.
29 years.
29 years.
And
We've been together 32.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
And it's like, I don't know, you see young people and like going back, like if we're going to talk about marriage and stuff like this, and I'm sure Chris has a different take on it, but I think that the one thing that horseshoers are oddly different than most trades is that they're very passionate about horseshoeing. Like,
for sure.
when you get in a semicircle, when you're out under the tent and you're talking and someone even eavesdrops, like let's just say someone's walking around, she's gonna let the cat out.
That's fine.
But when someone's eavesdropping and you're talking about horseshoeing, it isn't long before 3 people are talking and then 10 people are in the same circle and they're talking because they're so passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
So then you circle back around. I think that if you're not a horseshoer, you almost feel ostracized. So now you don't feel like you're a part of it because you don't have that same passion about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that probably what I've seen the most between men and women and young people that get involved is that this isn't going away. If you're passionate about it, you're the luckiest person on the face of the planet. So like when young people hook up and they meet each other and they're like, oh, you're my forever, it's like, man, that baggage that comes with a horseshoer is they eat, breathe, and shit this stuff, and they can't get enough of it. It's an intoxicating drug that they can't get enough of it. Well, then all of a sudden, I think that there's a little bit of bitterness and resentment because it's not fair that you went out and made a boatload of money, worked hard, and you're actually happy.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. The resentment sets in, I think, just because of how much time it takes too. It takes a fair bit of time to put the time in to be good. And it's also competing. It could be both studying anatomy and the traveling it takes to go places and work with other farriers and understand so much of that stuff. It takes so much time. It's a lot of time away from home.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm doing all the talking and Chris is just doing all the nodding, but it's like Chris, I would say, and that is probably by far and away probably one of the best photographers that I know.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know too many photographers, but I'm just saying, like, I would say she's at the level of Sports Illustrated of the horseshoeing world.
No, she's better than
You know, but the thing is that I guess that's the thing, is it's in marriage, two people have to have passion for something.
Yeah.
And where I think happens when you see it, when you see people under the tent, is this person drugged this person along, this person is passionate about this whole event, and this person feels like they're being a good-natured sport for supporting this person.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think that shit starts to go south.
No, for sure.
And it's like, I think that two people have to have passions, and so that now to circle back around to the original story, is it's like Chris and I have just made it work to where she has her passions, but we're all going in the same direction. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
She can do her passion along with.
Well, it all goes
stuff.
hand in
It goes
glove
together. Yeah.
And some people will never find that, but I'm just saying, I just think that patience too. You can, like, the second, like, it isn't like, okay, on August 2nd I found what my destiny is horseshoeing. Yeah. And then on August 3rd, Chriastine gets to find, like, the camera is her passion, or animals, or just capturing wildlife or moments. And so do you
I think we just gotta go the same direction.
Yeah.
I think that would dang sure help. I think sometimes, from my personal experience, it doesn't go like that. Sometimes they come with you to the contests and stuff, and they're supportive, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going in the same direction. They're coming, they're like, oh yeah, we're good, we're glad you're doing this, I'm glad you did good, but that's not sometimes how it really feels. Because then it's like, well, that's taking up a lot of your time, and I just think, especially, I noticed there were so many young people, under the age of 25, and it's like, man, how can we help them maybe steer their ship in a way where they can find somebody that will, hey, we're going to both go this way. Like, we're going this way together. And I think that would...
Yeah,
I think that you have to have somebody that, maybe even if you don't have the same passion, you're not going to go the same direction. Like it works for us, but maybe it wouldn't work for everybody.
For sure.
But I think you have to have somebody in your life that is passionate about something other than just you.
Yeah.
That this
that's
person,
a good way to put it. Yeah,
this person
sure.
cannot be. I mean, Craig is my world. My world revolves around Craig.
Absolutely.
But I do have other
Things.
that help feed into that. I think when people get so focused in like sort of a maniacal way about this person, and this person is my everything, then I don't think that works out really well, because you have to be passionate about something, some horses or...
Because 29 years is not that long in the grand scheme of things, but it's a long time. And so think about that. Like, we can't just sit on the couch and be happy with each other. It's not going to, it doesn't pan out.
No, for sure. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, I just think that, I'll just say it. I think that when you meet someone, you're sexually attracted to them, you're physically attracted to them, but you have to grow the friendship, and you have to grow all that other part, and it has to keep going. It has to and it's like, I think that if you do the battle of the sexes, where you're like, well, I talk this way in front of my friends, but I don't talk this way in front of my wife, I think that's the first warning sign that you got like big shit on the horizon. You know what I mean? I definitely think that those young people under there, and we're talking about a small group, but I think that small group is just a slice of the big group. You know what I'm saying? I think
this stuff would pertain to anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, first off, you have people that have goals. Like, most of the people that come have goals. Whether they're direct, and the goals have to be the same thing. Is it sort of like, it's hard, because when the relationships went lopsided, it's just built for the person. Like, if you feel stronger about your goals, there's just no way you can make it even Steven. When you're in a relationship, you can't say, well, I'm gonna give 48% of my time to you. It's sort of like, you can encourage it and you can help develop it, but the bottom line is the passion is what drives it. And so like the enthusiasm, the passion. So you have, but it's impossible to like, I'm gonna cut 12% of my passion off, and I want to give it to you, so that we focus on your passion. People have to just keep that engine running, and that is as simple as like not letting your better half like physically fall apart, or like drinking or anything like that. You have to say, hey man, we need to curve that down a little bit, because that's not even healthy. And we're talking about the easy stuff, but we're talking like part of like, you can't sit there and expect your wife to quit smoking if you smoke like a train.
No, not at all.
So it's the same way with
That's just not fair.
But I'm just saying, encouraging somebody about, like, you can't expect and I'm saying wife because I'm a man and she's a woman. I'm saying you can't expect your wife to like not do what they want to do, and you have to give full support the other direction as well.
Oh, for sure. And like, even like with even alcohol, like if you want to quit drinking, I don't think it's fair that your spouse continues.
Well, it's hard. It's definitely hard.
Because then it's like,
but sometimes it would be encouraged. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, sometimes you have a situation where somebody has like a health issue,
yeah,
and then
for
you
sure.
and you can't drink.
Yeah,
But maybe sometimes your partner isn't quite ready to be there,
yeah,
and so like you have to be able to say, we're gonna go out for dinner, and it's all right that you're gonna have an iced tea instead of a glass of wine.
yeah, for sure.
but you mentioned before we started filming, which was a good point, is you felt like there was a shift in the WCB since the first time you ever came to the WCB and now. And I feel the same shift, but I think part of that is I think that people are more serious about it. It's sort of like people have uncovered one more layer, and they've said, I think that there's a system to doing this. Like there's a system to doing good. There's a system, and I think that there's the same system in the marriage thing. Is it's sort of like, I think that you should hang around positive people. It's like if four women are pregnant and your wife is hanging around those four women, I guarantee it won't be long before your wife is pregnant, because that's the mindset of the whole thing.
Right.
And the same thing with men. If your husband hangs around with 5 people that screw around on their wives, then chances are your husband's going to be next. You know what I mean? And it can't just always be them guys or those women. It's not. If you're hanging around, and I feel like being around positive people produce positive results. And I think that, like, I think it's all right to have Skid Row and have your marriage have hard knocks and stuff like that. But I think in the long run, it's always best to try and figure out what went right or wrong and try and fix things. You know what I mean? And I think we're a throwaway society, and that's why divorce is so big. It's because, like, we make toys now that you just throw in the trash instead of buy a new part for them. We make everything like that, and I think it's sort of like, well, I'm just a bad picker, so I think we'll call this fucking quits.
Yeah.
And it's like it has become that, and I think people can grow and get better, and I think, and we are kind of, we're old now compared to the group. Because like you say, there's a ton of 20s to 25s under the tent. There's a ton of them.
Absolutely.
And they're all in that time frame where you meet someone that's pretty special. Unless you met them in high school, you meet somebody in that time frame, you're like moving and shaking, and you're like, and so I just think that it's like, man, I would never have said this before, but I think just taking your time in a world that is so fast, it's all right to chill for 3 years. It's all right to chill for 4 years and not get married right away, because I do believe this: when you meet someone, do not marry them until you go through a crisis situation. If that could be the death of a father, death of a mother, someone broke their leg, someone got in a bad car wreck.
Yeah.
Because when you have that crisis situation, it all comes unfolded, and you know exactly who you're going to be with the rest of your life.
I listened to a podcast. It's funny you say that, but I listened to a podcast with Charlie Kirk in it, and he was talking about things that you should do with your fiance or girlfriend or however you want to do it. But he's like, I think you purposely put yourself and her in a position where you're going to have to deal with some high stress situations, like a flat tire. Take her on a road trip and like purposely get a flat tire, or just certain things to see how they manage stress and how they react to certain situations. And I was like, it's actually pretty smart. Really.
Well, because some people don't find out, because sometimes those people's most stress they've ever met in their life is the wedding, and that's a little late.
Sure. Yeah, that's way,
when
way
they
late.
show their hand at the wedding, they're like, this is stressful. I'm like, this is not stressful. This is something you're going to forget about, because very seldom do people pull out their wedding album. Like, Heath, have you ever been here? And we said, we'd like to show you pictures of our wedding. It's like, no one wants to see that shit.
Yeah. No, that's some really solid advice, though. Really.
Because when you have this all hands on deck kind of atmosphere, that's when you get the raw person. That's like when that's why they say boot camp is so terrible, is because they're trying to pull you out of that frame of mind to where you're stressed out, because when you're going to war, that's the ultimate stress, right? And so you want to know how a person reacts, and that is the actual person that you have. And a lot of us will never want to know that true situation. But Chris and I've gone through situations like that, and you're like, she's way calmer than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Christine's like the sweetest thing ever, and then there's Craig.
Yeah.
It's like, rah!
We've got to get the pitchforks.
That's awesome. Because I'm a little that way myself, Craig, so it's okay.
But I just want to see people be successful, and I think that marriage is a terrible thing when you get divorced. I've been divorced, and it's the biggest feeling of failure in your life, and you're all alone because you're like a leper. Like, no one really wants to sit at a table like this and hear you crying your beer about how shitty your life is and how you failed.
I think the divorce thing is, like, this is why I've struggled with marriage, and this is why I wanted to do a podcast on one, is because I watched my parents go through, gosh, it was terrible. It lasted 2 years. It was like all four of us kids went through literally hell. And it was like, I never want to freaking do that.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was like, I want to get some information. From people that have been married for 30 years. It's like, you guys have been through trials and tribulations and then came out on the other side. And I think that's just the coolest thing. But it's like, in today's society, like you said, divorce rate is so high, it's like, it is a throwaway society. Oh, well, this just didn't quite work out. Like, we'll just start over here with something else, you know? And I don't think that's the right way to look at it.
No, and I think that marriage is hard work, and I definitely think that it's. Then you add kids. You have a relationship. Then you add youth, and then you add children, and children.
We had a little break in service here with our really cool devices.
Yeah, it overheated because I was talking too much.
Yeah, you just put too much power through it.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of hot air, huh?
But, yeah, a lot of hot air. It's getting hot air in here. But I don't know. We when you said that you'd like to do a podcast and kind of touch on marriage, I think Chris and I were like, who really has the authority? All you can do is help people, and when you help people, you try to help them do the right thing. Like, I mean, people pick their advice by the answer they want. Like, you're like, well, I'm not going to tell my dad because I know exactly what my dad would tell me, and I might tell my mom because I know what my mom will tell me. You know what I'm saying? So people,
sure.
like, so if someone were to come to you for marital advice, they already know what the advice is going to be before they ask you, because they already know what you're going to spit out of your mouth. But I personally, I tell people who've been in situations, I'm like, man, you have like, think about it, like, to be away from, just because you were in a bad, I understand violence and drug abuse and all that. I think that you need to get out of that. I definitely don't think that there's no right answer for that. But and if the person wants help, then you can be there. You can be there when they decide that they want to get help with those problems. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about differences of opinion, like you get married and you realize that you're a Republican and they're a Democrat, stuff like that. But I'm just saying, I'm sure that shit happens all the time. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's like, but you then you just learn to be good debaters whenever you actually talk about politics. Like, I think that Chris and I have been at opposite ends of the spectrum as far as politics, and we research it because it is opinion. So it's sort of like, it's sort of like she'll be like, well, I found that this happens to be the truth, and and you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
that kind of makes you come together. But I don't think
Yeah.
you can quit talking about it.
No, I think you have to talk about it. Otherwise, you can only sweep so much shit underneath the rug before there's a mound of shit underneath the rug.
Yes. Yes. And I don't know. I just feel like I'm talking a lot more than Chris, and Chris is not saying a whole lot. So, but I don't feel like we are experts in any way, shape, or form. But I do think that we're around young people, and like just a quick story that probably hasn't made too much public news is Javier came up to me at the Phoenix clinic, and he said, "Hey, I'd like to do something if Miss Chris would be up for it." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "I'd like her to slip one of those pieces of paper in between the novice goes, because I want to propose to," what's
Anna.
and I want to propose." And I was like, "I think Chris would be into that." And then every person that you told like was just the same answer. Oh, and so I was like,
sure.
But so you see people, and we get to be a part of their lives. You know what I mean? Like he proposed to her right there, and I mean, some people would think it's corny, some people would think it's stupid, but I think it was really, really cool. You know what I mean?
It's gotta feel good.
I thought it was real cool.
It's gotta feel good because it's at one of your events, and it shows that somebody cares enough about you guys that they're willing to put
Make
their
that
personal life.
Yeah, with us, we get
With
to be
you
part
guys.
of it. Yeah.
For sure.
I think another thing that's changed in the WCB that's been a neat addition is it started out with we would ask Weston to say grace before a meal.
Mm.
And then it turned into now we have devotionals that Ben Schroeder leads at the Winter
The
Clinic.
last one Ben did was really good.
And then
I thought it was really
and then we had Jerry Protzman doing here at the Roadrunner Classic.
Mhm.
And I think it's just integrating our real lives into what we do. And I just think that's
Well, I think that's the other part of the marriage thing is I didn't really have much of a faith with God before like a year and a half ago. Like a little bit, like my mom raised you, well, Heath, you better believe in God.
Yeah.
But like I didn't really have my own faith or my own walk with God and Jesus, right? So now that I have a fair amount of education in the Bible and stuff like that, it's changed my outlook a ton on how you view a lot of things. Like you mentioned sex. Like, do you think if you took sex off the table with a lot of beginning relationships, how many of those things do you think would end really fast?
Well, because you'd have to, I think the relationship would become before the sex.
100%. And you'd learn the person. You'd be like, oh man, I ain't dealing with this one. Or, hey, I think I can do this. This is a pretty good gig.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing is it's like there's so many things that there's just it's the intimacy, and when I say intimacy, everything, like knowing that Chris is a morning person. Mm-hmm. And she likes Chris quiet time. So I don't come in the room just blaring and, oh, what the fuck's going on, honey?
Well,
it's sort of like, no, but I'm just saying. But I know, so you learn things. It's sort of like anything. And so you just kind of move around each other. Yeah. And that doesn't have to be pouting. That doesn't have to be mad. Those are just you learn. And those are, Chris and I we drive up and see the kids. And those I like that because that's just Chris and Craig time with no interference. We get 17 hours, and some people would think that was strenuous, but we might go for 2 hours and not say anything, and it's not uncomfortable, and then we might talk for a whole state and don't even realize we went through a whole state.
That's pretty cool.
And it's like I enjoy those things. I enjoy road trips, and it's because like the one thing that we found out, like when we first got the semi, was it was kind of hard on both of us because Chris would fly home because she had all this stuff that she needed to get done, and it was just more practical. But then we were like, it's not worth it, because after a WCB event, we have to have that road trip to hash out everything that we saw and encountered for the last 4 days. And if we didn't have that, we both really didn't even realize that we needed it that bad, that we were like, hey, we have to change something, because when we go home, she goes home and I go home and I see her 2 days later, and we didn't get that decompression, and we didn't get that overview of the think tank. It was like a think tank. Like, well, we sucked at this and we did good at this, and we're not going to do that again. And did you see Barbara's dress? No, we didn't.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think that the world has gotten so fast that people don't even, especially with, I couldn't imagine, like, we watched the two little boys, Bodie and Rachel's boys, and you don't realize how much energy it takes to watch kids. And I don't watch them. Chris watches them. I just walk around
with your microphone.
But so think about that when you're a young person, and you don't even get that time to like hang out and visit anymore. Though, like, all I know is it's a tough road to hoe, and I think with social media and online dating and all that crazy bullshit, and becoming like we're becoming a non-sociable society, because we went to eat tonight, and how many people did you see with their families that were on their phones and not even talking or looking at their family?
I even catch myself. There's times where, like, me and my son Blake will be eating, or me and Ashley will be eating somewhere. Yeah, you almost have to be like, leave it in the truck.
That's some unhealthy shit.
It really is. It really is.
It's unhealthy, and so think about that as far as like being a 22-year-old. That's why I think things have changed for the WCB, and they've changed for the better. Is people have to get engaged, and people sit in the back of the tent and they look at their phones. But I'm just saying, if you want to get something out of the weekend, you have to be engaged. And I think that's something that I think it's neat, is you see young people talking to each other. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a huge thing as far as like, man, it's just a scary world right now, as far as like that the whole dating scene and the whole lack of communication is getting worse and worse and worse. So I think we're in a good spot as far as like, and I know it just keeps sounding like a WCB plug, but it's really not, because I think it's actually a social event.
Well, and it just translates. I think it translates to anybody that does anything. It could be like you go to a rodeo, or you go to roping, you go to any. It's just, this is our function, right? This is what we do, right? So if we went to a team roping, or we went to whatever, it would be the same deal, just at that function. So I think that's just the only difference.
Yep.
I think.
No, I agree with you whole, and we have just people that, like, it was good. Like, I'll just use him as an example. Brian Reynolds. I saw Brian at the convention, and then he missed Amarillo, and then when he came back, it was like old home week. It was like, man, I missed this shit, and we missed having him.
Yeah.
Because it's like, and he's just one of a lot of people, but it's that one person that makes it all the event. You know what I mean? Because there's people who miss the event, and someone will come up at the prize giving or something and say, you know who we missed? We missed so and so, and you're like, I know, it's been weird without him here, isn't it? And that's not just one. That's hundreds of people that make it act like that.
Yeah, for sure. I think it really is. It's a pretty neat deal. Yeah, I've had to actually be social.
Exactly.
My social skills were like.
Well, when Chris and I saw you talking to Brian Buckner on the podcast, I was like, how's that going to work? Because he's not like the most social animal on the face of the planet.
Yeah, well, it kind of got to work on it. You get pissed off at a vet, and then you start a podcast.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're like, oh shit! Now I got to be personable and figure out how to talk.
But that's part of. Don't you think that's part of the big picture?
Oh yeah.
So
for
many people have come in and they're like, well, the WCB is about forging, and I was like, it's about forging, it's about horseshoeing, it's about all things horseshoeing, but it's also about seeing. Before we were cut off, I was like, we see so many young people, and sometimes you take young people as, well, that fucker's an asshole, or she's a pain in the ass. When really, Chris and I have had to do a ton of growing up as you realize those are just young people that aren't who they are yet. They haven't grown up yet. They haven't matured yet. Mm-hmm. And it's like, at first we would be you just don't know, because no one gave us a policy manual and said, here, this is how you do this.
No,
it's
yeah,
sort of like,
sure. You guys have figured it out along the way.
And then all of a sudden you're like, so-and-so, they were kind of this when they first came, and now they've really grown up and they're a really nice person. And not so much nice, but sorted out. Mm-hmm. A sorted out person.
Oh, for a fact.
And it's like, it's really, really quite, it's changed me a bunch. I mean, not a lot, but it's changed me a bunch.
I bet so. I think I think it's, for me, this has been one of the bigger things in my life, and it's not even horseshoeing.
Yeah, it's not, is it?
It's not all like, I know there's people, like, even I used to think, it's just Craig's freaking circus, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to go. I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to do it because I want to do good and I want this for me. And it's made me a lot better person. I've had to actually learn a lot about myself. There's been a lot of times where I've had to look myself in the mirror and say, hey, Jack, we got a lot of work to do as a person. Not necessarily, and I think that affects the anvil too.
Oh, discipline is discipline.
Yeah, that's my thing now is like, motivation's a joke. The word motivation is a myth. It's bullshit. It's discipline. It's we're gonna do this the same today as we are next week, the week after, the next month, the next 6 months, the next year. This is what we're doing. And I think that's relationships, that's marriage, that's being on a team, relationships of all different kinds. I think being on a team with 4 other dudes has taught me a lot.
Yeah, because you know what? Like I tell everybody when we get on the team, and the cat too, is it's sort of like, you're on a team and it's total celibacy. It's just interaction. Mm-hmm. It's whatever you want to say, but like we say, when you interact sex and everything gets weird and manipulated. But then when you're on a team, you're trying to understand this person, just to understand them, so that you can figure out how to get something going.
Absolutely. And I think that's because I kind of noticed that having to do the team was like, man, there's certain aspects of this deal that would help in other areas of my life. Just the team. It's how you interact with other people, I could say, hey, Craig, that's fucked up. Don't freaking do that again. But I can't say that to somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, they can't take the same pressure.
Yeah, but that's what's so hard to understand about the marriage thing is, it's still negotiations. Mm-hmm. If I said, Chris, you got supper ready? That's not fucking kind. That's
You're
not.
You're gonna get your ass in trouble, dude.
But it's sort of like, hey, it's the same question. If you said, hey, need help with anything?
Oh yeah.
It's the same exact question.
I watched you do dishes.
I know. I what?
Yeah. See, like everybody, Craig does dishes. I watched it.
Well, and Chris will say, you're just showing off for company.
Yeah. No, but I think that's admirable. I think for myself is like, Craig does dishes.
Well, because
I could probably do dishes.
At the end of the day, people come to our humble abode, and it's like Simon came from Sweden. He was over here on a walkabout. And it's amazing when people say, they think that you have a facility and minions and then you're like, Chris and Diane go out there and work their ass off every day, and I go back there and I reconstruct stuff every day, and I kind of do logistics and move boxes here and there, and she moves boxes. But I think that Simon was amazed that at the end of the day, we still got to shut down around 8 o'clock and go eat supper. Mm-hmm. We still got to shut down around, and the dogs get fed at the same time. It's like, it's not a 24-hour deal. It's like you still have to do, we still do, it's amazing when you like, you go to people's houses like Linda Heathcott and Tom, and they say, well, do you want to come over for dinner? And here's these people who have done all these great things and have done well for themselves. And she's over there peeling potatoes just like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, you forget. It's like people are people. You know what I mean?
For sure. One, what do you think, I know that's kind of a dumb way to phrase it, but what has been the biggest thing for you guys that you've done, both of you, to not quit? Like, this is hard, and maybe Craig got a little mouthy, but how have you like pushed through the hard times?
You should go first.
I think there's great value in walking away. I don't think you should, what is going on in your mind shouldn't come out of your mouth, probably. And I think it's a good thing to be able to walk away for a few minutes and then come back and be a little calmer. I think you should.
Yeah, I don't think I think that Chris and I both have lived by that, is you can't take anything back. Even if you say you're sorry, you can't take it back.
Is that something that you guys kind of agreed on early on in your...
I think we've just lived by that. It's sort of like, when you learn, like, by example, you hear someone say something hateful to their spouse, and you're like, we'll get back in the car and we're like, that wasn't good. No matter how many sorries, no matter how many rings, no matter how many cars get bought, that's never going away. And that's something that we've, like, I think I've made Chris mad beyond belief, and she's made me.
Well, Craig and Chris, sorry we had some camera malfunctions. We got a hot battery and stuff, but we got her cooled off, and we're going to try again today. But we kind of talked about marriage and stuff and relationships and all kinds of stuff on how to be a part of a team, so to speak, in a relationship, or even on a team competing, or any of those type of things. I think we covered that pretty well. But I think, well, I wanted to know what you guys thought, but I think that WCB has changed quite a bit since I started. And the first one I went to was in 2016, and before last year, 21 was the last one. And
I think probably a big shift was I think we're evolving. I think that the seriousness of, like, I think people thought of it as an escape. Like, man, we can go have some fun. This is cool. We can get, and then it turned into, I think people see results. I think that the results are for the members, and it's not like we're in competition with anybody else. As far as, like, we're trying to help our members get better. And so, like, I'm gonna name drop, but it's for, like, Carl Vaya. His life has gotten easier. He trims feet. He doesn't have to get on, like, pissing matches with people on Facebook, because if you own your trade and your feet get better and you see better results, then there's really not any reason to go and try and stomp them, like, just try to get people worked up. And so, like, we have so many members like that. You have Chris Madrid, Bodie Trnka, all these people that have businesses, and they're like, yeah, I understand, we get good results and things happen good, and that's the goal. If the goal is not, like, I think it started off as, and we even got bad press. People are like, oh yeah, you want you want to get divorced and have your business go to shit, just go join the WCB. And I think that they've found that that's quite the opposite. It's sort of like you come, you network, you're around a lot of good people, and then you turn right around and you start to evolve as far as like, well, if I do this, that my feet do this, and your practice becomes, instead of like being in bewilderment that you're on an Easter egg hunt every foot you pick up, you're starting to see like, holy cow, this stuff works, and it's like we don't have to tell the whole world that this is how you trim a foot, because the whole world would say no, it's not, and we're like, so why not just have our community? And it's like, this is good results with feet, and you have Stan and Troy who are young in the middle, and they're kind of the tip of our spear, and then they bring on someone like Gavin and Mason, and then and their lives change, and it's like, but it keeps on branching out. And I think the difference between a clique and a community is a clique, or what do they call it? A cult. A cult is when the leader stays the leader. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I am in no way, shape, or form. I might be a driving force, but the new blood changes. It was Travis Coons, Chris Madrid, Stan, Troy. They're kind of the parliamentarian, and their skill level, everybody, I'm not the skill level. Those people are under the tent, and they're showing people how to do things, and they're showing a different way to say the same message that is more basic.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It's been really good for me. It's changed a lot of the things, how I shoot horses. I mean, from when I started a year and a half ago, whatever it was, to now, I shoot a horse way different. You know, Chris helped me out a lot with seeing feet, seeing like all the little details of, and then you start picking out toes, medial, lateral toe, and like all of those small details, and then fitting feet. I don't think it's a cult, and I think that the biggest thing for me has been, it's a place of belonging. And it's been pretty cool because I've met so many people from all over the place. And now it's like, just like we showed up last week or the week before last, and it's like you see Storm, and you're like, all these guys from the other side of the country that I didn't even know before. And so that stuff I thought was always really cool. But I think it's been a good thing for me, and I think probably a lot of others, for sure. A skill level changed, for sure.
Yeah, I think that the bottom is coming way up. And when I say that, I think that you always have people who are driving from the lead, but I think that the novice, it's not just some easy task for someone to be like, and everybody has a ringer. Everybody's like, this kid's really good and he ought to be in the Cat 2s, but he's never competed, so we're going to put him in the novice. And those kids are no longer standouts, like just smoke people. It's like, usually you don't really see it where someone wins it both days.
Yeah, no, like the novice shoes are, those guys are making really nice shoes.
Did Felix win it both days this time?
No.
Yeah, I think, and then the novice, the match plays really help because, again, fitting skills. Mm-hmm. Like when you have a striker in the novice and you're in the match play, the striker's like, so what? They even tell their guy or gal how to measure the foot. They're like, all right, make sure you get the widest part of the foot, the heels. Tell me if you think it's an elongated foot. And then they kind of nurse them through that 10-minute go. And it's like, if that doesn't resonate when you go back to the horse, I don't know what would.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like I was telling you the other day or whatever it was, match play was my least favorite. I was like, this is freaking stupid. Why are we doing this? But you know what? Last week we got back, and I made a pair of plain stamp bar shoes, and I used my match play measurement for that. And it was like, and it's just like, but that makes you faster at the horse.
And I think what people hear whenever you say faster at the horse, I think people hear it's about speed, and it's not. It's about being cohesive with the horse. And if you're efficient with the horse will reward you. And if you're not cohesive with the horse, then the horse gets upset and starts to get antsy, just like a small child. And it's like, I think things go bad. And people are like, well, it takes as long as it takes. And I'm like, no, it takes as long as their patience holds out.
Oh yeah, because not all of them can stand there for
No.
a long period of time.
No.
Usually they got about an hour.
Yeah, on the good side.
Yeah, and you can kind of get them done faster. But yeah, no, it's the match play part of it is. I think it boils down. I think most of the time comes fitting, or I think that's where the shoeing every day. That's where a lot of the time is taken is there. So that's where match play, for me, made up the difference. Was, oh well, I can make this shoe way fast, and then it fit it faster and better.
Yeah.
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 Sure. It's been.
Do you see people like this year or the last couple of years, we probably have more new people than we've ever had, would you say?
Yeah, but we've also had people come full circle and have older people come back
Yeah.
into it.
It was really good to have Jeremiah Harris come back,
Yeah.
and Jeremiah Harris it put a lot of enthusiasm in a lot of people, and you know, people go through life and they have to get their stuff sorted out, but it's good to see them come back. You know, people come back and
Yeah, for sure.
and it's neat because it seems like that when you go the first time, it is a big circus and there's a lot going on, but then when you can come back and relax and just kind of drink a beer and enjoy what's actually happening, I think we've kind of evolved to that where like Cam Hudson comes and he's like, I want to do good. I tried hard. I've put a lot of time in. He goes, but I'm really enjoying myself. And it's like, it's good to see people like that. And those people bring so much back. Like that, the age and the experience it's irreplaceable. It's everything.
Yeah, they've seen a lot. And they've already competed probably like before too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they already kind of know the ins and outs of it and stuff.
Because it is, for us, the new people are higher maintenance because they have a ton of questions and they like, but it's like that just comes with the territory. But we have, when we do the go rounds, Chris will, you know, on a Sunday morning we'll do the go rounds on the table over there and just have all the pieces of paper and slide them around, and there's just so many people that I don't even know who they are. Like I probably have seen them and I'm terrible with names. Chris is good with names because I almost always can like, who's that person over there? And Chris is like, that's so and so, and I'm like, all right.
Oh yeah. She was actually talking about that last night at dinner about how she remembers people's names, using them 3 times, I think is what you said.
3 times over the course of a conversation.
That was actually good because I'm terrible with names too. So I was sitting there
and regardless if you're good with names or bad with names, it's a great sign of respect if you can remember somebody's name. And so you can use the excuse that you're bad with names, but in all sincerity, you need to remember people's names, which that's why I think that people are like, Craig's a dick.
Well, yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But one thing I've noticed since being back the last year and a half is people treat this like a sport. It's not. When I first started competing, especially my first contest was Kremling, and then that was like a beer fest. I mean, everybody got done with their stuff, or even during their stuff, they were drinking or whatever. And then now it's like, it's not that way. People, they might even wait till they have dinner later that night or whatever. They're not really getting into it. Especially, like I noticed, I watch Troy and Stan quite a bit, and they don't touch nothing. They're committed, and they work out, and they have a real regimented about how they do things, and I admire that.
I think so. I think that you should cross over into different sports because, like golf, we watched a golf tournament, and there was a lady that was a sports psychiatrist, and basically the number one thing that people tell me when they come is they're like, I wish I could just get over the jitters. I wish I could just make the shoes like I make at home. I wish I could just get over the animosity, and it's like, I definitely think that, like, you see Pearlie Morris and Troy Woods, they have their earbuds in or their earphones in, and it's like they're they do it in all sports. Is things that try to get them focused, get out of their own head, like because that's what you're trying to do, is get out of your own head. You know what I mean? And just be comfortable and have a good time. And there's a lot of people who come and have pain, and pain is directly related to stress, animosity, and being scared.
Right.
And so, like, these are all things, because once you get relaxed, then it all goes back, and it's all drinking from the same well. It's all like, if you're relaxed around horses
Stand good. Yeah.
And it's like, so it is a sport now, because people, and I wish I had the answer for most people, because people are like, man, I just wish I could get out of my own head. And sometimes that might be taking 2 beers. Whatever you need to do. You know what I mean?
Sure. Oh, yeah. I used to be that way. I'd be like, oh, I got to get the nerves off. But I think the more you go and the more you put yourself out there, the less that happens. At least it has for me.
Well, I think you have more friends, and I think that you realize that there's more people that would rather. No one wants to see a bad go. I don't care who it is. No one wants to see someone struggle or they can't find a pritchel. All you have to do, if you're at the WCB and you can, is someone say, I lost my dividers, and it isn't long before you turn around and there's 4 pair of dividers laying there. Oh, yeah. Everybody wants to see you have a good go, and usually you don't really beat anybody. Almost everybody beats themselves, and that's what keeps the camaraderie together.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what's helped me, or like with where I've been with it and stuff that you've pointed out this weekend, is I'm holding myself back.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the other shoes or the other competitors. It's like there's a few things that I'm doing that I need to sort out so that my shoes will go up.
Just do what you know how to do and take care of it.
Yeah.
But that's so hard to do, because everybody's like, when you watch other people go, they have a pretty good go and it looks pretty smooth, and you're like, I think I'm going to try that, and that's like the worst thing you could do.
Oh yeah, don't be doing that.
Yeah,
you'd be off in the weeds.
Well, and you probably you've probably picked up every horseshoe that's been made, other than maybe a few go rounds where people help, and when Tom and Terry when they pick up shoes, but you've picked up just about every shoe that ever been made out there.
Yeah, and what's interesting is to see how people have grown, and it's super fun, because you always want to be positive, but sometimes you pick up the shoes and you see so much growth. And it's like, wow, this is great.
Oh yeah,
and I think people roll their eyes and are like, yeah, you're just being nice or whatever, but it's amazing to see the growth.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I mean, there's no doubt Troy and Stan are going to win their fair share of things. Money's going to win his fair share. All those guys are going to win, but I can't help it. I know Chris is the same way. It's like, there's nothing cooler than going the trailer at night when they're doing the points, and Chris will say, you'll never guess who got in the top 10. And it's like someone that's been motoring along, and they finally and people are like, well, top 10's not winning it. Well, I'll tell you what, top 10,
it's a big deal.
Getting a check is a big deal, don't you think?
No, absolutely.
Like, Tony Mendoza got a check in the live shoot. He was pumped. And he's like, I said, man, you did really good. And he's like, yeah, but it's only 6. I was like, well, trade it with 7th, because that son bitch wishes he was in.
Yeah, he wishes he was in your spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. No, it was cool, because I was sitting at the same table as Tony, and he was like, hell yeah. He was really excited about it. So that was cool to see, too.
Yeah, because, and the shoeing, I wish we could figure it out to where we could do more shoeing, but the way that we're locked in to go into remote sites and stuff like that, it would be hard to get a bunch more horses and have a shoeing day every day. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think that would be a wonderful thing, but logistically, there's only so much we can do. And the format's as close as we can get it. I'm sure we'll change and tweak it, but because with like Stan brought up the thing, he's like, hey, we need to add one more element to the novice. Why don't we try and make pairs? And then we were like, we can do that. And then after it was done, I think it was something that was looking us in the face, and we should have done sooner.
I thought it was cool. I think a lot of the novice kind of liked it too.
Oh,
I think they had a lot less confusion.
Yep, I asked a bunch of them, and all of them were.
Yeah.
Everybody that I talked to liked it a lot.
Yeah, because I was striking for some of them. I helped some of them, and I'm like, which one's which? Which one's the front? Which one's the hind? Which one's forward? Which one's plain stamped? You know, and that was hard as a striker trying to make sure.
Oh yeah, we burned up a lot of steel that way.
Yeah. Hey, this is the right one. You can fuller this one.
But it is a little bit of like tick you on the side of the head. Like you have to think. That was the reason that we made front left, front right, all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like you have to think, and because you can do that, and we all do that. You make the wrong side shoe, and then you just put the clip in a totally different spot because you made the wrong side for a horse that you're making it for. That's what you have to do whenever you do stuff like that.
I believe somebody did that this week, and
yeah, made a whole foot.
Yeah, no, that's cool. But that was kind of something that I noticed that was really cool is the whole taking it seriously, and like, and even one other thing that I thought was cool is like even I was talking to me and Chris were visiting Amarillo, and we were talking about God and Jesus and some of the Bible studies that we go to and stuff. I thought that was super cool too. Like it just seems like some of that's changed a bit, and I thought it was super neat.
Well, I think that for years and years and years, it was just like people associated God and Jesus with fundamentalists and people that were erratic, and it's sort of like, so then it was sort of a taboo to talk about it in public, and it seemed like it was like you were kind of off the deep edge, and then it slowly, it's like people push back. They're like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with talking about what you feel.
No, yeah, absolutely. It was just cool that Chris was kind of on that same path too, because he started going to the cigar shop in town, and they have a men's Bible group there. And then Brian started the one in Fort Collins, and we do that. So we were just talking about that and the different stuff that we visited about there, and that was super cool.
Well, I think a long time ago, Sam Gooding was like, he was like, you know, you're running a church, don't you? And I was like, no, I don't see it that way. And then but he made me think about it a lot because he was like, well, you know, you're trying to lead by example. You're trying to have people make the right decisions. You're trying to make people like have a purpose-driven life. A purpose-driven life where you get up and you perform functions for you and your family. You want to do it good. You not only want to do it good, you want to do it great. And it's like there's no end to it. There can always be better. And it's like, and then you want to refine all those things. You want to, about the time you get your shoeing figured out, your business, you got people that owe you money from a long time. You know what I mean? It's just is endless. Yeah. And it's like, everybody brings something to the table. Like they think, well, if we don't make a nice shoe, then we're not really welcome. And man, there's people that come, that Chris has met so many people that have visited up there that they have other parts of their life that you don't even know about, and then they share them with you, and you kind of dive into their life, and it's like, holy cow, they're involved in this, and it had nothing to do with what we're doing, but they're very intelligent people that have expertise.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah. Well, where do you guys see it going now?
That's all up to Chris.
It's all up to Chris.
Says the man who built a giant building.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we painted the deck on that bad Larry this weekend. That was kind of cool.
It's cool. We try to make a little. It's just like eating an elephant. You just take it one bite at a time, and we've been working on it, and like we've set a goal for ourselves that we want to have the Roadrunner Classic next year in there, and so
that'd be cool.
That's a steep climb, but I think it's doable. I think that, like, it's fun to see you and Dalton come in here and kind of mill around our house, because we got a lot of cool stuff in our house, and it's all about horseshoeing, and that's kind of what we want to do with the smithy, is put a lot of this stuff in the smithy and make a lot of the stuff, make it just cool. You know what I mean? Lots of pieces of, there's so much cool stuff that people do, and it's like, you don't want it to be in people's houses where no one's ever going to see it. You want to see it to where a community can see
Everybody can see it. Yeah.
But what will we decorate our house with then?
I think you would find. Well, I tell you what, if Salvation Army has that ball again, I think we'd have plenty of stuff to
Little tractors.
tractors, and Chris is an expert at going and finding other people's junk and bringing it to our house and putting it in our house.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
I think it's. I don't know. I don't see. Unless, and there's unforeseeable problems that will always come up, but I think we just listen to the people.
Yeah.
Just keep growing and learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because people come up and they have great ideas. Sort of like Stan. Stan is a good example. Is sort of like, hey, how come we haven't done pairs in the novice? And you're like, and always a knee-jerk reaction is you have an excuse, right? Wow, and then, but at the end of the day, like when people have logical things, it's sort of like, that's just logical, it makes sense. And it's like, and that's what we try to do, because the whole committee, and we'll have a panel, and we'll have people do this, it just seems like it doesn't move as quickly lateral as we can move whenever we just listen to good people who have good ideas.
Yeah. It'd be harder to get anything done with red tape.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta pull the trigger and have a yellow floor.
Yeah. Heck yeah. I think it looks pretty good. I thought it looked good.
It looked different on the paint chart, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys letting me in your home and helping me and inviting me and stuff, and it's been great. And
well, I hope you do good with it. I hope you have a good message, and I think people will listen in. I think you're doing a good thing.
Well, that's I want to leave it better than I found it. You know how you talk about like being a steward of the trade, and it's like I started this deal because I got mad at a vet, and I was like, all right, well then they need to hear our side, so maybe I'll just get loud, and then they'll have to hear me eventually. But it's like, okay, well, how can I better the trade? How can I do something that might help somebody else along the way? You know.
Well, I feel like it's a big chunk to say, like, I want to be like Edward Martin, or I want to be like Bernie Chapman, these great icons in our industry. But I think Edward made it the most digestible, is if you say I'm a steward or a custodian, that means that you're keeping it clean and you're keeping it tidy and you're taking care of it. And I think everybody could, like, no matter what level or your experience, everybody could be a little bit of a custodian of our trade.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Just not be a jerk.
Yeah. And I'm a hypocrite, and I probably sound biased because I've probably been the worst offender of our trade sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you learn, and maybe a little guilt and a little bit of you want to do right by it sinks in.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I really appreciate you guys being my second guest, and putting up with the mistakes with the camera and stuff. I really appreciate you guys' time.
Thank you.
It's been awesome.
Thank you. It's been fun.
You.